Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of virtual events. Today, we're going to talk about, just in terms of future of events, what is in hold for 2021 in terms of the event industry. We're looking at for 2021, there's a lot of statistics out there. So we're looking at in terms of Q1, Q2 really being virtual, maybe tail end of Q2, some people might do some hybrid, but it's going to be virtual, hybrid, and then ideally back to live. There's three things I want to specifically share about 2021. So high expectation in terms of the virtual experience, because last year a lot of companies just pivoted, so the expectation was not as high. This year is going to be a lot higher. Like I mentioned, our own team, we're continuing to leveling up that virtual experience. Clients or people or attendees just want to see a little bit different and out of the box idea. Even last year, we kind of saw that. So not just like a typical conference, but really try to work in elements that can make that conference a lot more inviting, and keeping in mind that it needs to be shorter because the engagement virtually, people's attention span is just a lot shorter. Making sure the brand awareness is up there. So as you're planning out your virtual experience, keep that top of mind. We saw a lot of virtual experiences that forgot to kind of put their brand up front, and that's a big opportunity miss. So your logos, your messaging, there are so many ways to get that integrated into your virtual experience. Next one is engagement, right? We get this question a lot from our clients. How do you engage people virtually? Make sure that you're using the platform, and it's okay if it's just a simple Zoom. Or if you're using sophisticated platform, but allowing the opportunity for chat, polling, Q&A, those are all great ways to engage the audience. I saw some webinars, they just turn off the chat function, and I really think that's an opportunity missed, because there's a lot of peer-to-peer connection or learning that could happen during that time. So make sure you have that. And I understand sometimes people turn it off because they, want to avoid side conversations, but I really think that's an opportunity missed. And as well as in terms of engaging all the stakeholders, really think about what it is, the mission of your virtual event, so that you could plan out the engagement or the attendee journey that we talked about a while back as well. Hybrid events, that's another question. So hybrid events essentially is two events in one, right? So you have your virtual event right here, and you have your live event in person, and then the hybrid event is kind of like the middle. And I think one thing to keep in mind, hybrid event is essentially you're planning two events, right? So two budget, two considerations. You need a lot more lead time. It's not as simple as it sounds, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll just have some people in person, some people, you got to think about the experience is not going to be exactly the same. Last year I attended a hybrid event, and I was part of the group that was virtual, and there were people that were on site. I think it was Texas or another state, and they attended the different session. But one suggestion we have that you can do is having a moderator who is part of this virtual experience that can help connect that virtual group with the in-person, so they serve as a resource and almost like a bridge between the virtual people that are on virtual versus people that are in person. There's 6 key drivers really in terms of the hybrid event experience. One is the environment, whether that's your platform or design, the experience, the engagement, the connectivity, the content, and then the last but not least, the production. That a lot of focus will be on wellness, cleanliness, and as well as safety, right? And then some of our clients are asking us about outdoor environments, which will be great because they think that will be a lot safer just being indoors. Another pro tip for you guys is leveraging using mobile apps. So for those that are now in person, another way for connectivity is allowing mobile apps so they can see the same digital program, have connection made that way as well, which we have done before. So it's really nice to offer that connectivity between people that are on site and people that are viewing at home. Among the 80 events that we did last year for virtual, a lot of the big ones that we saw success in have these events to go kits. virtual boxes are not only fun, right? Who wants junk mail? Don't you guys all want gifts to arrive? But really it serves as two really wonderful function. One, as a reminder for that event is coming up. Two, these are, you could put items in the box, thank you, that attendees could engage, right, during the session. So here's one of the boxes that we put together for TikTok. You see how it's fully branded. That's how we like it, because we already want to have that surprise and delight element, and just making sure the design is very prominent. These are some of the goodies that went in there. We have, for this session, we were doing a quarantine cocktail. So we have a tumbler. You know, usually these are branded. We have a mini wine tumbler right here. We have the alcohol that needs to go in there. And of course, masks. Tie-dye was really in last year, so we made these tie-dye masks, and an apron to keep everybody nice, clean, and simple. But these arrived the week of. So it was really fantastic how that worked out. So just kind of recap: high expectation, engagement, and then hybrid meeting. Some of the best practices in terms of virtual event, you know, from our learning is, one, having a professional AV or tech company or someone like us that can help manage the backend. Making sure, you know, there are a few events we actually sent equipment to the speaker, because whether maybe they don't have good lighting or maybe their sound is just not good. So having those equipment really makes a difference. There's even some, like we sent green screen. Those are super helpful. Pre-recording versus recordings. I think that's also another popular question. It's really up to the event, but generally we like, you know, majority of the program to be pre-recorded. However, it's not advertised that way, and it doesn't need to be shown that way, right? So perhaps the speakers, their sessions pre-recorded, but on the day of the event, the Q&A portion is live and they're wearing the same outfit. So it's as if the whole experience is, you know, live. But then for us on the production agency, in case there's some emergency, then we don't have to worry, right? We literally did some events on the day of, even though after 2 rehearsal, we have one speaker, their internet just went out. So then what happened, right? Things like that do happen. There's a lot of variable when you're doing virtual events. So it's just making sure you have that contingency plan with you. Run a show. Have a good moderator. That's so crucial. This person is really tying all the events elements together and helping, you know, guide the attendees as the day progresses. We had some amazing moderators, and then we had some that were just mediocre. And I can tell you the ones that were amazing just made the event that much better. And then it's you, as if you're the one hosting the event, make sure you give moderator some guidelines, like some to-dos, like what to do and what not to do, so that they could, you know, they could be empowered to do what's right and what you guys want. Audience engagements, you know, we would always recommend having someone just dedicated to chat, right? So there's welcoming people into a program, thanking them. If you have sponsors, this is also a great way to recognize them, in addition to this, you know, main host or moderator recognizing a sponsor. And then for some events, it's really funny. You know, my team and I attended a marketing webinar, and then the speaker was like, you know what, I would love to see all your beautiful faces, because a lot of people just turn off their camera. And as soon as he said that, a lot of people turn on their camera, right? So it's not that people don't want to turn on their camera, but sometimes if they're listening to a speaker, they don't feel the need to turn on camera. But when you want that engagement, speak up. Have your moderator say, you know, maybe work it into your script, like, okay, now we'd love for everybody to turn on their camera, you know, or you can have a slide. We've done that before too, where we put, please turn on your camera and video. I mean, yeah, turn on your camera and mic, right? And then it's just like, also now more people turn on and more engagement, because they feel like more people are here, and makes a big difference. And then I'm going to end up with this last pro tip for you guys for today. Overall, safety is still number one. You know, a lot of our corporate clients are not rushing to go back to live events because safety remains as a priority. But the good news is a lot of people are getting vaccinated, you know, so now I know teachers and people in the food industry, so it's wonderful. Government is doing their best. Hopefully you guys find today's session great. We're going to have part 2 of this next week, also Thursday at 10:15. Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on next week.